TMPA is the organization that stands for doing it right.
Knowing that we all in law enforcement have a friend in TMPA is something that no one can put a value on.
You always say that law enforcement, your family. Well, TMPA is in that family with us.
I believe in TMPA. I believe it's the best organization, not only in the state, but in the nation.
We were created in 1950 for the sole purpose of getting due process for police officers in this state. In the 1980s, TMPA basically made two historic decisions. One was that we were going to focus on delivering services to our members, the services that they want. And two was that we were going to have the best legal assistance program in the entire country.
A representation 24 hours a day. That's something that's very unique. There's not a lot of people in professions who can pick up the phone and have access to an attorney any day of the year at 2 in the morning, and then also have that attorney get in the car and come to them.
We guarantee, absolutely guarantee, that if an officer is involved in a critical incident, we will have an attorney on the scene with that officer within 2 hours.
In 2003, I was involved in a shooting, and I made the call to TMPA for my legal representation, which I had always paid dues for, hoping I'd never have to use them. And the amount of work they did for me with the attorneys that were involved, I'll never be able to repay them.
Every time I was involved in any kind of investigation, I simply sat back and looked at the big picture and knew that TMPA was standing right behind me.
I went from a high level of anxiety from this going on, because I've never been sued in my life, to I felt fine after I got off the phone and I didn't have another worry, because I knew with TMPA there, I was going to be fine.
We offer private practice attorneys who focus on representing that member's interest, whose loyalty is to the member, not to TMPA.
And if you have staff attorneys, who's their loyalty to? Is their loyalty to the organization that pays them? Is their loyalty to the member? Where does it lie? And I would never want to have that question in my mind.
We have police officers who come to Austin or go to Washington and actually walk the halls of the Capitol or the Congress to advocate for the interest of police officers and the citizens they serve.
Whatever's good for the law enforcement officers out there on the street, to keep them safe and to keep criminals off the street, that's going to be their legislative philosophy. And they work with legislators by educating legislators on law enforcement issues.
Sometimes you need a support network to make sure that you're adequately prepared to talk about the issues or defend something that is really not a good idea. It sounds great, but until you understand how to put it in practice, which is where you need professional organizations to be able to help you understand that, it really doesn't work in society.
One police officer out there speaking to the legislature may not get much done, but when you have thousands of officers joining together, their voice is heard in the state capitol.
I'm going to listen to my constituents, but I'm also going to listen to an organization that has a wide network of members throughout the entire state of Texas, because I know that they represent not just the people in District 18, but they represent people in law enforcement through the entire state of Texas.
The legislators in Texas and in Washington know that when TMPA tells them it's good for law enforcement, then it's good for law enforcement.
Law enforcement training right now is expensive if you try to do it on your own. You have to travel, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas.
So TMPA stepped up and said, we'll provide it. We will enter into a training agreement with the State Commission on Law Enforcement, and we will take the training where it's needed. So we created the first mobile statewide training program in Texas, and to my knowledge, it's still the only one. Just as an example, we have one of the few computerized firearms simulators available in the state of Texas, and it's mobile, and we take it anywhere.
We'll take it to a two-man agency if they can host it, up to a 500-man department. So it doesn't matter to us, we're trying to get the training out to them. It puts them in a real-life situation. And so it helps them in the field. When they get back in the field, they've got some recall that they can draw from.
So that when it is a life and death situation, they've got a practical experience to fall back on. Police officers are the ones that not only have to respond to crises, they have to stay around when other people don't.
Primary example is the wildfires in Bastrop County. I was the first one on scene of the wildfire. I reported to the Emergency Operations Center after that, and I turned around and there was two TMPA representatives saying, what can we do?
TMPA We'll go in there and set up relief centers for them. We will set up supply chains where we can bring them basic necessities that they can't provide for themselves.
They not only support you or care about you, but they also care about your families, and there's no doubt about it, because when the phone calls start, it's they're checking on you constantly, daily, making sure that all your needs are met.
If an officer is killed or injured in the line of duty, we will have our field reps respond to the hospital, to wherever they need to go, to make sure that the family's immediate needs are taken care of. And we want to make sure that they have the support network that they need from that moment on, as long as they need that network of support. We reach out and touch the lives of not just police officers, but the lives that police officers touch. The reason we're the best is because we focus on you. We're focused on building a better cop.
I was a member of another association when I worked in the EMS field. Never heard from them, never got anything in the mail from them. And then when I came into TMPA, I was like, whoa, y'all really care. What's the catch? But there's no catch.
This organization is run by the members. The members elect from their own numbers 19 full-time working cops to a board of directors, and that board of directors are the ones who make all the final decisions in this organization.
It's not bureaucrats and it's not executive people. The executive people carry out the mission of the board, and the board is full-time police officers, and those are the guys that are not ever going to lose sight of what's important.
But there's other people that are law enforcement professionals that are also welcome to be part of TMPA. Corrections officers, communications officers, they're welcome to be part of this organization as well, because they're in the same business, and that's public safety. In today's law enforcement profession, you can't afford not to be a member of TMPA.
It's just another piece of equipment in your tool bag. You know, when you go to work, you have on your vest, you have on your gun belt, you better make sure you have a good legal plan, and you're not going to find a better one than TMPA's.
Just knowing that I'm a member of TMPA is just reassuring. I don't have any worries when it goes out. I do my job. I don't think about, oh, is this person going to sue? Am I going to get in trouble doing this? Am I going to do this? I'm going to do that. If I have any questions, that's who I call.
I love this organization because this organization is all about making sure that the best people have a support system that they can depend on.
You don't see that with any other association. TMPA is it, and you can't do any better than TMPA.
As long as I'm involved in law enforcement, I will always be a part of TMPA.